Game day, just an Amtrak away. What
Come
a
on, Sam.
introduction by Amtrak.
Oh yeah, that's great. No doubt. It makes me honestly every time I'm like, damn, the Amtrak don't look so bad, bro. Comfort, nice
It
little
does.
first class.
Yeah, then you get on that motherfucker, you be like, man, goddamn, I should have took the damn train.
Yeah.
Yo,
I'm
what's
gonna have
going
to get
on,
on the
everyone?
Amtrak.
Hey, it's a little bit different today. Devo and Kris Joe show. We're going live on the Monday, 10 a.m. We usually do it Wednesday morning, but we're switching it up thanks to our guy Jordan Capozzi. Switching it up
Yes,
a
sir.
little
My man
bit.
JC.
Joe, what's good with you, man? How you feeling, man? Let's cover that first, man. We got to see how my guy feeling.
Feeling good, man. Mental is straight. Physical is all right. You know what I mean? Doing my coaching thing still. You feel me? We're in the thick of the season. 22-11 right now. Not bad. Lost some tough ones. We
Man, you
lost to
playing NBA
Perkiomen.
schedule, ain't you? It's a damn
Yeah,
NBA schedule.
right. Lost to a good Perkiomen team last weekend. Was able to play at Gauchos last Monday.
Oh, dope.
So that was dope. Saw Pearl Washington in there in the rafters. You feel me? Rest in peace to a legend, Gauchos legend. He was in there. Stephon Marbury. That little gym has a lot of history, bro. So that was cool. But
Hell yeah.
I'm good overall, bro. I'm good. How you doing? I see you got the ED. You promoting it like a motherfucker. That it look good. You know what I mean? Nice printed. Get you. It's cold outside. It's cold.
It's
Get
cold
you an ED
outside. It's
23.
cold. Yeah, it's a little bit warmer in my house, but I felt like I'm representing it today. I'm ED 2-3 hoops. You get your game right, holla at your boy. That's what it is.
Yes, sir.
Man,
That's it.
let's talk a little bit, Joe, about the game Saturday. Man, it was good to see. Those guys continue to fight hard. When their leader goes down. Talking about Joe Girard, senior leader, who's been playing outstanding in recent games, averaging I think 21 points in ACC play, goes down. Second half, we're four freshmen, one senior, Jesse,
Did he break his nose,
and we.
bro?
No, I don't think. I think he got stitches on his eye or whatever, but he did just smash his face or something. Jordan said he didn't need stitches, but the shit looked bad. All right,
Yeah,
he crushed his
I just
face
saw
into
the
the ground.
still. Donna, shout out to Donna. She had posted a still of him, just his
He's
face
like,
just just right there. I said, damn, shout out to my man Joe. I'm glad he's doing all right, because you know what? My junior year playing Cincinnati, I got undercut, end up hitting my head on the floor, bro. Had a mild concussion, had to miss the next game against Pittsburgh. So I'm glad that he's okay, because I know them shits is serious, bro. But back to the game, like you said, to have him go out, to have some unsung heroes come in and step up, bro. What we've been saying all year is you gotta be ready when your number's called. I think that's the most important thing for any player, really, but especially a freshman. We spoke about it early on in the year. I forget who we played, maybe Brown. When Justin Taylor came in, he had like 26, 27 points. He was
Brian.
ready. Yeah, Brian.
Oh,
Yeah, that's tough right there. God damn, bro.
yo.
That's tough. So I think
Yeah,
just
my
being
fault.
ready when your number is called is crucial. And a couple guys were able to answer the call and deliver. You know what I mean? So that was good.
Yeah, man, it was. First half was a shootout, man. I mean, Notre Dame hit 9 threes. I think. I don't know how much we had, but we shot the ball well. We ended up shooting, I think, over 50% for the game. 60% in the second half we shot. But the difference was obviously second half our defense, we started to step up a little bit. You see Jesse coming out of his zone a little bit, blocking shots. He had 4 blocks. Another monster game for Jesse, 13 points, 15 rebounds, 4 blocks.
Big double double.
He's holding down the middle, bro. His presence is felt, just like we've been talking about since the beginning of the year. He needs to have his presence felt on both ends of the floor. He's doing a good job of being big down there offensively, establishing position. When he does get it, he's doing a good job turning, keeping it high, and finishing over top of the defense. When he doesn't finish, he usually gets fouled, and he's done a great job of knocking down free throws at a consistent rate. And then defensively, he's just been he's been consistent all year. But I want to talk about these freshmen, bro. It was at one point in the second half, it was 4 freshmen on the floor with Jesse. I think it was Judah, Malik Brown, Justin Taylor, and Chris Bell. Right.
Yep.
And as much as we'll start with Chris Bell, as much as Chris Bell has been, inconsistent, competing wise, getting rebounds, maybe on the defensive end, we've seen the offensive talent that he has. We've seen his form looks pure. He looks like a dead eye shooter, and he
Yep.
proved it last game versus Notre Dame. 6 for 9, I think 5 for 8 from 3. He ended up with 17 points,
Yeah.
career high, 3 rebounds, and he was active on the defensive end, man. So I think a game like this for a kid like that, now it just starts to snowball effect, right? You look at a guy like Malik Brown, get some opportunities, get some minutes, takes advantage of it, plays well. Now you start to see the snowball effect. Now you start to see his confidence and his minutes start to get more and more and more.
Exactly.
What did he have? 15 and 6, 7 for 8 from 7 for 8 from the field. I mean, it's a big step for this team, and we're a young team, so obviously I want to stay put on this year. But seeing that game Saturday, I think every single guy, freshman wise, even if they didn't play, Copeland, I don't think he played, but seeing his guys take that step, I think gives everyone a little bit more confidence. And, going into the next game, going into the next year, these guys are past that, I guess, freshman funk, so to speak, right? I mean, these guys have played in big games. They've experienced, what you need to do. They've experienced some highs and lows. So, I mean, what's your take, Joe, going forward for these freshmen?
My thing is, they're not typical freshmen, bro. Like we have had 2 freshmen starting all year. Judah, starts along with Chris Bell. They're not typical freshmen. So for them, there's other freshmen in the country, I'm sure, that still have like you call it, the freshman funk. These guys now, they've been a part of some big moments in their early careers. Some big games where they had to make some big shots, important decision making, things of that nature. So that, there's no better teacher than experience, bro. We've all said that before. And I think just them being a part of those type of games, just every game you're getting, you're fueling yourself, you're getting smarter, you're figuring it out a little bit more, because it's not like you're playing 5-8 minutes and now you got to sit down and watch. You're in it. So you're learning as you go, literally, right? So that's crucial. And I think, like you said, even watching a kid like Copeland, because he's ready. Every time that he comes in, he gives us a spark. You could tell, and his energy on the bench translates. So he's always, when his number is called, he's always ready because he's always engaged on the bench. You see him, he's jumping up, he's dancing, he's doing everything, right? Yeah. So he's always engaged there on the bench, no matter what. So I could always count on him to be, ready when his number is called. And like you said, Chris Bell shot the ball well. Judah, obviously, there's been games where he plays 40 minutes where he doesn't get a sub. So he's getting a lot of experience, a lot of game time experience. And going forward, bro, knowing, like you said, it builds up that confidence, knowing I've been a part of this before. Like, I've seen it before. It's not a surprise to me anymore. You might be in a situation like on Saturday, we're down 8 to 10 points with 10 minutes left in the second half. You know what I mean? And damn, if they ever were to see that again, they'll know. We've done it before. We've come back by being relentless, by making shots, by making the right plays, by playing together. You know what I mean? So a lot of the things that we spoke on last week about them all being on the same page, I really felt a different type of synergy in that moment, because not only is it a team that has a lot of freshmen, it was a time where all freshmen had to play together, so they had to rely on one another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Excluding, of course, Jesse, right? So they all had to come together, and that's probably one of the moments that they probably spoke about once, at some point during the year, bro, at some point we'll all be on the court at the same time. We don't know when or how, but we gotta be ready to perform and show that we're not just no typical freshmen. And they did a great job, bro, of just weathering the storm. We were pressing at some point in the second half. Notre Dame got about a couple buckets out the press, but they kept it going. We sped them up. Big shots by Copeland. Big shot Taylor comes in, big 3. Malik Brown, we spoke about it earlier, big play where he gets the ball from, I think, Jude on the left block, bodies the little guard, dunks it. You know what I mean? Little things like that where you just, That's that pad work. Shout out to Griff. You know
Oh,
what I mean? And the managers that, that help out with that pad. You know what I mean? I remember that. Seeing those plays, bro, you just see the confidence building in real time, not just in the game in itself. Every play, Malik passes to Hema. You're feeling confident. You're playing a little bit more loose. You're in a situation where I can't really get subbed out at this moment, and they kept it going, bro. I loved it. I loved it.
And I think what too is super important for people to look at. Like, this game was up and down, right? We were hitting shots, they came, hit shots.
Yep.
Boom, it was back and forth a lot of times. So being a freshman, a lot of times, after that 4-5 times trading baskets, you could lay down one time. You know what I mean? Be like, God damn, all right, motherfucker, I ain't playing D no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, that mindset. But to see those guys continue to fight, through, those made shots, or, you got a couple stops. Now my man 2-3 feet behind the 3-point line knocks down. A lot of times these guys could, lose their composure, fall down and not continue to play. We didn't see that. These guys continued to fight. And I want to make a point about Judah, because I don't think it was his best game by any means, right? But what we've been talking about since the beginning of the year is we want to see his decision making. We want to see his playmaking ability, right? We know he can score the ball. We know we can get to the rack at will. Obviously we want to see that jump shot, improve a little bit and have a little bit more consistency, which will just add to his overall game. But I mean, the kid's playmaking ability and decision making, I think he had 8-9 assists, 1 turnover. I mean, he got to the free throw line. He really sealed the game with those last 4 free throws, just getting to the bucket, willing his way to the bucket and drawing those fouls. But, we saw a couple of drops to Jesse and to Malik Brown. I mean, the kid is just being a leader out there. He's being a floor leader. If he's not scoring the basketball. Yeah, if he's not scoring, Joe, and still, again, he has some plays where he puts his head down, maybe gets himself into trouble. That's okay. We want you to be aggressive. You're going to have some of those plays, all right? But it's going to be fewer as you go forward, because now I'm going to do this instead of that next time, right? But I'm just super impressed with his playmaking ability, man. He's putting himself in position, and Q's fans, I'm going to say he's putting himself in position to be a first-round draft pick, not because of his scoring ability, but because of his playmaking ability and his decision-making. Now, when you have 9 assists and 1 turnover, that's a great floor game, right? Without him on the floor, despite how well Malik Brown played, we'll get to him in a second, Chris Bell, Jesse, Justin Taylor contributed, Hema, all those guys. Without Judah Mintz on the floor at the end of the game, we don't win it, because he put guys in position to be successful. He got to the free throw line, knocked down his free throws when they count. And then I don't think we give this kid enough credit defensively on the defensive end. I mean, he does locks up, super active up top, just deflections. I mean, you see passes that are hard to get. This guy's jumping up in the air and just timing it, getting his hands on it, getting out in the transition. So, you know what? He's a special player, man. He's a special player, and I think it's just good to see his maturation process as far as the decision making goes.
Yeah, I like that. I like the fact that he's able to stay composed. At a time when you're not scoring the ball, being that young, you're probably you're thinking to yourself, "Fuck, I gotta get mine." But he realized, like, today is not one of my days. Right, I still gotta be aggressive, but I gotta look. I got Chris Bell, who's heating up. You know what I mean? I still gotta find big fella down low. Taylor's in the game. I gotta find him. So he did a great job of channeling, or not channeling. Sorry, realizing that it's not my day, but I could still be effective on the floor, because I could still, 9 assists generates a minimum of 18 points. You know what I mean? If we're just talking field goals. You know what I mean? So that's still him contributing. So what does he have? He has 14 and 9 assists. That's great contribution. That 32 points that he contributed to. At a minute.
Shout out Ryan Mullen.
So Ryan Mullen. It's been a while. Where's our edits at, man? We need a few edits, bro.
Man, you sprinkling them things on there. Sprinkle them bits.
Oh yeah, we need a little bit of known. We need a little bit of known. We need some bits. We need
He
some
threw. He
bits,
didn't.
man.
Hold on, Jordan. Put that back up on the screen. What did it say? How many bits he threw? 2730. 2,730 bits. That must be a penny a
Oh, I
bit, man.
appreciate it.
Hold on.
Yeah, hey, I
Hold on.
appreciate it. We appreciate it. We appreciate the bits, y'all.
Yeah, we appreciate that. We appreciate that. Hey Joe, I want to get your take real quick on the young fella Malik Brown, man. Just obviously in the beginning of the year, not much time. With Benny inconsistent play, he's got more of a chance. He's got more an opportunity to play more and show what he can do, and he's took advantage of it, bro. I mean, I've heard comparisons, a young Jeremy Grant, and I see him. I see the length and athleticism. I see a young Hakeem Warwick. Am I saying he's Hakeem Warwick? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I could see the
Yeah,
similarities
yeah,
in his body type. When he hit my man with the fucking pad, and then he
yeah.
fucking
That's
went like
pad
that, I
work. That
said,
was nice.
"Oh shit! All right, bet." Like that's like he
Yeah,
took it to a whole nother level with that. But young fella has come in and earned his minutes, earned his playing time. And it's pretty awesome to see, man, a young fella coming in taking advantage of that. I mean, he's had a double-double the last two games. This game, obviously, 15-6. What's your take on this young fella, Malik Brown, and who, if anybody, Joe, does he remind you of?
well, for one, I like what he brings to the table, bro. 29 minutes. He has 15 points, 2 blocks, a steal, 2 assists, 7 rebounds. So he's active. That's just to me is he's a stat. What do you call it? The stat sheet stuffer. You know what I mean? So he,
Yeah, he's
so
everywhere
he's
for
out there
real.
and he's everywhere. He still. I remember one time it was a play where it was between him and someone else getting the ball, and he just ripped it out dude's hands and started a break. Like he
Yeah,
wants to be out there and he's being aggressive. He understands. He understands what it takes for him to be on the court. Sorry, he understands what it takes for him to be on the court, and he's doing it at a higher rate. Obviously, with more minutes, more things could happen for you. More opportunity presents itself, and I think him just being ready. We've seen it in the past earlier on this season, where when he's ready to play, when he's in there for a lengthy period of time, he's going to bring us some positivity, some positive numbers. You know what I mean? He came in no turnovers, 2 fouls, only 2 fouls. He's blocking shots, so he's a rim protector. He's rebounding the ball. He's getting guys involved. To me, one of my favorite plays of the game was Justin Taylor on the right wing. Malik sets a screen for him, rolls. Ball was pitched ahead to Judah. Judah cross pass right down to Malik, and Malik finding Hema for a nice little 2 point, little baby hook. That was a great
yeah.
little play right there for me, bro. And that one, and of course, the one we mentioned about 5 times already, the pad work. That just showed me that you've been in the gym with Ryan Kabilis. That's one.
Back.
Then shows me that you've been putting in work with my man AG. You know what I'm saying? So keep putting that work in. And I think for me, who he reminds me of is those were two great comparisons, right? Because Jeremy Grant, his first year, he was just out there. Didn't really have a skill set, let's just say. But he was athletic. He could run the floor. He'll rebound for you. He'll block shots because he had a feel for the game and he had athletic ability. And of course,
Yeah.
wingspan was out this world. So if he just continues to do what he does best, right? Don't think about anything else. What's getting you playing time right now is your activity on the rebounds, the way that you can help us out, blocking shots, and just your nice touch around the basket because he has great feel around the basket. Like he goes up to finish, he could lay it up, he could go dunk it. So he has great feel right under that basket. So a little bit of that Jerry Grant, and of course, you gotta say a little bit of Hakeem. Outside of that, this is early. We're not saying he's gonna start jumping outside the goddamn key and dunking on people. Like Hakeem was doing. We're not saying that, but of course, this is activity, and as he gets stronger, as he continues to develop his physical attributes, like that's something that we might be able to see further down the line. But right now, midway through the season, bro, he's showing great promise.
Yeah, bro, and I tweeted it out, man. I'm putting my stamp on it. I said he'll be an NBA player. You know what I'm saying? The 4 years maybe, but he's not a guy, obviously a one and a done guy. I think he needs a few more years to develop. But you could see it, just like you could see it with Jeremy. Oh, he's an NBA guy. Why? Because those are the
Yeah.
type of guys that play in the NBA with that athleticism, with that motor, with that energy. The guy can
No
do a
doubt.
little bit of everything. He's versatile. You know what I mean? You could put him out and switch on pick and rolls. He can guard guards. He can go down low and body with the bigs. So I'm telling you, he has a bright future, Malik Brown, bro. I'm excited to
No
see
doubt.
him continue to grow and improve and get better. It's going to be exciting, man.
And it
So
just it reminds me. Oh, my fault. Just one thing.
no,
Just
go
it
ahead. Go
reminds
ahead.
me of when we had Coach Griff on here, and he actually mentioned Malik. Like he doesn't get mentioned in the pack because we had it's like Judah and then it's Chris Bell, but he did mention Malik and that he does some impressive shit in practices earlier on in like September, August, whenever they're there, and it was kind of like, damn, like how the fuck did he get that block or how did he get that dunk or that, you know? So I'm seeing it now, what they were seeing in practices, because we only get to see, nobody gets to see the hard work that's put in, bro. We just get to see the, you know, the product or the results of all of that when you watch a game, but those coaches are able to see that on a day-to-day basis. So I'm sure there's a whole bunch of shit that we have not seen yet that he's capable of doing. So like you said, I'm just excited, you know, to see what the future holds for him, bro. Cuse Nation should be
No doubt.
excited too.
Q's Nation should be excited. Yo, before we get to our guests, shout out Chris Bell, man. We ain't forgot. I know we spoke about you a little bit, but shout out you, man. Keep shooting the shit out of the ball. You got a great shot. When you compete on that defensive end of the floor, when you compete to go grab those rebounds, you're giving yourself that energy, that mojo. You know what I mean? Now when you go on the other end, you hit a couple shots, you have it both ways. You have it on both. Shout out Chris Bell, man. Keep doing your
He
thing.
cold-blooded with it too. He cold-blooded with it. He face up, contested, hand down, man
Hey,
down. He cold-blooded with it.
exactly. And came back, got banged on, came back, hit a three. You know what I'm saying? Well,
He hit a
shit,
three. Hey,
shit
that's part of the game. That's part of it, bro.
part
He
of the
came
game,
back.
yo.
Hey, let's forget about that Trey ball. Good shit.
For real. Hey, so we have a guest on today. Our guest was a former Syracuse manager turned walk-on senior year. He has a lot of pretty crazy stories, I'm sure, from his time being a manager to his time being a walk-on, off the floor, on the floor. I'm sure he got a lot to say. Our guy, Pat, I'm going to let you say your last name, Pat Herlihy.
Herlihy.
Yeah, Herlihy. Yeah. No, because everyone just call me Pat, so they don't know my last name. So.
No, we fucking saying your last name, Pat. Pat, what's going on, man? We appreciate you coming on the Devo and Kris Joe show. Update us, man. Kind of let us know what you've been up to, what's going on since you been away from Cuse.
Man, thanks for having me. It's an honor. I love listening to both of you guys on this show. Let's see. Since Hughes, I got a GA gig with Marshall men's basketball for 2 years. I loved being down there. I mean, that was the closest D1 school to home. It's like 50 minutes away from Charleston. So I did that for 2 years. Then COVID hit, and after that, I was doing some training around
COVID.
the area. Killed everything. It was wild. And was doing some training around there for about a year, and then I felt an itch to try to keep pursuing the coaching thing. And like 70% of the kids I was coaching were girls, and they were awesome. They were listen to everything, go to the next thing. Not like some of these little shithead boys who just run around, don't listen to you.
Yeah, we know that. Trust me.
Facts.
And so I took a job for FIU women's basketball as their video coordinator, and did that for a year, about July 2021 to July 2022. And then there was some family stuff going on, so I moved back home, and now I'm here for a little while. I'm subbing at my old high school, and I'm helping with their girls basketball team. So just trying to keep myself busy and figuring out the next step.
Yes, sir.
Yo, Pat, kind of update or let us know about your journey to Cuse. You know, how did that happen? How did you end up at Cuse? And then, kind of talk about your time as manager. You're a manager for 3 years, and then that last year. Because Pat, I know I was there with you. We used to lunchtime ball. We used to play 5-on-5 all the time. You're always trying to get that walk-on spot, that opportunity to go ahead and play. So talk about your journey and how you got to Cuse, and then talk about those 3 years being a manager, and then eventually your last year being a walk-on.
Well, I was even lucky enough to be a manager. I wanted to go somewhere where they had a great sports management program, and it was going to be either Xavier, Indiana, or Syracuse. And I visited all three of them. And Xavier and Indiana, when I went to both, I asked them, so like, what kind of internships have your kids had in the past couple of years? They're like, oh, well, at Xavier, they were like, we had 2 kids work for the Reds last year. At Indiana, we were like, yeah, we had a couple kids work for the Pacers. And I get to Syracuse, and they list off 10 different NBA teams, 10 different NFL teams, 10 different MLB teams that like all these kids work for in the past year. So I was like, oh, it's serious. Like they have an unbelievable sports management program. They got that ESPN mafia. And I wanted to go there, and it was so competitive that they were like, we can't admit you into the sports management program this year. We can put you in IT for whatever reason. It was the most random thing, like not even like undecided. It was like, you'll be in high school. But what they didn't tell me was, after, like, to even try to transfer into it after your freshman year, you need at least a 3.8 to try to transfer. And that's how competitive it is. So I just wrote it out with the high school, and it was fine. I got a IT degree, but I don't want to be sitting at a desk or anything, but that's what my degree is in. And I need to thank Pete Corsiniti, because he was the guy, honestly, who
shout out to Pete.
basically allowed me. He's the best guy.
Pete C.
He made it possible for me to be a manager, because I was looking around. There was this like program where like seniors, when you're about to be a freshman at Cuse, like just random seniors, they would reach out to you and try to introduce themselves and get yourself a little bit more familiar with Syracuse and the population. And I asked him if he knew anyone. It was some random dude. I don't remember his name, but I asked him, do you know anyone who's associated with the basketball team? And he named Pete. He's like, he's, the head manager. He's about to be the grad assistant there. And so I shot him a DM, or I sent him a text message, and he was like, yeah, we're having interviews in like September. And there's like 50 people there. Like I show up, and there's so many people out the door, like all these managers, like potential managers.
That shit is crazy,
like,
bro. Damn.
It's insane.
50 managers,
Marshall, they had like 7 managers total, and at Q's they got over 20. Like everyone running around, like doing. As soon as someone falls, that sweat spot, you got 20 people like buffing the hell out of the floor. And they and so I went in and had an interview with Katie Kalinsky and let's see, Brad Scannell.
Shout out to Katie. Shout out to Katie.
And Mike DiCandido, and they were doing the interviews. I went in, interviewed, left, and was going to hear something the next 2 days. And I got that call, and I was, it was insane, unbelievably happy. I remember
Pat, sorry to cut you off, Pat. I'm sorry to cut you off, brother. Yeah. I'm sorry. But just let me know real quick, because you kind of skipped over. So there's an interview process to become a manager, right? So just not to go too in depth into it, but like, what's a question that they ask a potential manager? Like, what do they want to know about you?
It's like, what's your experience with basketball? Like, it doesn't have to be you played. It's like you could have been a manager for your high school team, but they want to know what your experience is with basketball and why you want to be a manager. And it could be anything. Like my dad played. I was around the game all my life. Like I wanted to be a part of it. I took stats for the high school games. Like plenty of different reasons. And my whole start was I got cut from the 7th grade team. And after that, like all my friends got to be on the team, and it just pissed me off, and I just wanted to, play basketball ever since. And I just kept working at it. And I didn't, that's what drove me. But yeah, like honestly, the interview process is pretty intimidating. It's like, you're in the Mello Center for the first time, and you're waiting at like outside the doors with the code and everything.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you go up to the second floor, big conference room, and you got these, and the managers do that on purpose. They have like seven of them, like on one of those big ass tables, and you're in one seat right in front of them. You're just like, I thought I was gonna have like a 101 or something. And I didn't know this till later. Mike DiCandido, he told me this later, but he said usually they take like 5. Your class, they took 7. Like when we were all freshmen, they took 7. So I got really lucky to be a part of them. And so, freshman year, first day of practice was unbelievable. I loved it from the get-go because at my high school, you get in trouble, like, the coach doesn't tolerate swearing or anything. And so the first moment you're in there, like, you got Hop and Bayheim, get on the fucking line.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, man. And like, I'll see, we'll come to one of the off-season workouts, and GMAC, like, if one of the managers was late one time, he made him get on the line and start running suicides before he joins and starts
Yeah, shout out to fucking GMAC. Hell yeah, hold yourself accountable, man. Be there on time. Shit, if he has to be there on time, shit. Hell yeah.
Oh my God, he was the best. And it was, so how they do it was, each manager, you get assigned an assistant coach that you're going to help for most of the year. And it's cool because it's like, you can stick with one for the whole time and you'll be their guy. Like, Ricky Pasternak, he was with G the whole time, and he kind of became
no doubt
his guy when his senior year. So, but what I wanted to do was, I was with G my freshman year, and I loved it. I wanted to stick with it the whole time. But the sophomore, like, when you're a freshman, sophomore, you don't really get to pick. You're like, you're with them this year. And then my sophomore year was with Red, and I really liked it too. But I was like, okay, I've had these two. I might as well be with Hop for 1 year, just so I get to learn as much as I can from each coach, because I wanted to be in coaching. And I'm lucky I did, because that, the next year he's gone, and that's Griff's first year. So I'm glad I did that, and I learned so much from those coaches. And let's see. And like you said, we ran pickup all the time. When I was a manager, I was the busiest I've ever been, because I'll have class from like 8 to like noon, and then I get about an hour for lunch or something. And then typically we'll show up at the Mello Center around 2, because usually we'll play pickup from 2 to 3. We'll play pickup, whether it be walk-ons, coaches. GMAC would just bust everybody's ass the entire time, especially if, like, he gets bumped early on. He's gonna light it up. It's like, if he gets bumped, if he gets a bad push, he's just gonna be pissed off the whole time.
Yo, Pat, how many? Pat, was I there with you 1 or 2 years, Pat?
I think 2 years. I think you started with him. I think you started with the coaching staff my junior year. My best memory of you was when we, on the play-in game my senior year, when we were playing Arizona State and Dayton. That was the one, because you're usually behind the bench. That was the one where you were on the bench and you were fired up. Like, we had to hold you back from going on the court at certain times.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Awesome.
I believe it.
But yeah, those 2 years, I mean, those were probably, like, when I was a junior, that's probably the best playing experience I've ever gotten possible, because we were playing with the managers against you and GMAC the whole time. And it was,
crushing them, huh, ED?
And look, though, Pat, tell it, we were
all the time.
We weren't taking it easy. I was talking shit. I was cursing them out all the time. Yeah, motherfucker, come out here. Come out here and get some of this shit. It was all, he's talking real shit. He talk about Ricky. Ricky was a guy who always, and we switched, but bro, we just, me and GMAC, we start getting upset. Oh my God, you might go off. Me and GMAC, and we're always on the same team, because we're like, man, fuck that. We're on the same team. Me, GMAC, and then give us. Pat was always on the other team because he was one of the better players. You know what I mean? So give us fucking Ricky, who struggles walking left foot, right foot. You know what I'm saying? and then give us a girl. We usually got one of the girl managers, and then someone else. But Pat, this is off topic, but were you there when we played St. John's? When we played St. John's, and they brought their managers in to the Mello Center. You might have not been. I don't know if you're there. Okay, you were. Okay, so this is what happened.
Wait, was that the St. John's? Because that's the only game I remembered us getting booed at home because we lost.
Exactly. That is that game.
We came into practice right after the game.
Right after the game.
Shit.
So the game was, I don't know what time the game was, but St. John's ended up, we had like a manager game, right? It had to be during lunch or something. I don't know, early afternoon,
It was either
right?
an early game or the night before.
Yeah, whatever it was. So they come in, Joe. They got their managers. They got one of their managers used to play for real. Like he used to play
I
St.
remember
Mary's.
that dude. He was jacked. He
He was
used to play
bro.
at the
He was
Seas or something.
Yeah, Bo. His name was Bo. He ended up sending me a card and shit after, like, later down the line. But so we're up in the office, me and GMAC watching. We watch it, and bro, they're getting fucking destroyed, man. My man is just going through them. So I'm looking down there. Yo, G, I'm fucking going down there for the second half. They playing a real game. They playing the first half game. We down 20. I think the managers are down 20. I go down there a second. I'm playing, G. Fuck that. I'm playing. They got this motherfucker playing. He really playing out there. So I'm going to go down there and play. Bro, we go down there and play. We end up fucking winning by 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was watching these dudes play, and then I see this dude, right, he was trying to dunk everything. I'm like, hold on, G. I'm shutting all that shit down. I'm going to give this I don't give a fuck what else is going I'm going down there. We ended up Pat, it was me, Pat, Ricky, a bunch. I don't know who else it was. CB, maybe CB was
Probably CB. I bet CB.
CB
At one of his highlight games.
Yeah. So we shut all that shit down. Big fella wasn't doing none of that shit in the second half. It came in between, but that was, and then like Pat said after that game, St. John's destroyed us. I'm talking about they won by about 30, 40 after the game. We come back into the mellow for another practice after the fucking game. It's 10:30 at night.
Full, like a real practice.
Real fucking practice. Running. It was mostly running. But and remember, Pat, where before that we all had to go into the film room and all the coaches went one by one. And coach was like, I remember we were out in the lobby. They all sitting in the film room. Coach comes up to all of us, me, Hop, GMAC. He's like, I need you guys to fucking light them up. You know what I mean? Get into them. So he's like, Eric, you go first. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we all walk in the film room, bro. And I just remember us, everyone's sitting there. Man, I just let him have it, bro. Man, y'all motherfucking soft as shit. This motherfucker getting the ball, dancing, dribbling the ball up court. You guys should feel disrespected. You know what I'm saying? All type of shit, cursing him out. Frank, what the fuck you doing? You over here like you just got your head in your lap type shit. You know what I mean? Like, so we really went at it, bro. The whole coaching staff. You should have seen Hop, man. Hop fucking, Hop running around like he running around the room back and forth grabbing people's shirt. Sure. Motherfucker, yeah, motherfucker. Like, it really means something to him. It means something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was, bro. That moment right there was that was a Hop special, bro.
Hey, low key, those are the type moments Hop lived for. He loves some shit like that.
Loved them,
where
bro.
He can just go fucking crazy. Come on, bro. That's Hop. That's Hop moment right there, for real.
Hey, Pat, what was your first interaction with Coach Boeheim? What was your first experience with him? Just talking to him, or just kind of being in the same place with him?
Well, especially as a freshman, they harp on it a lot. The managers are like, do not talk to Boeheim. Like, if you're like, freshman, they're like, do not talk to Boeheim. Do not go up in the office. Or like, stay in the fucking lane.
I'm saying, so what was your, what was your first experience with him? Because fuck that, bro. I'm a grown ass man.
I didn't listen to him.
Yeah, so what was your first?
As much as possible with the coach. It was probably midway through the season. And actually G was, because I never thought like playing for Cuse or being a walk-on, I never thought that was possible. G was the one who sparked that a little bit, because we had been playing manager games and I'd been getting better. I've been working on my own stuff. I would get, on my own time, I would get into the gym and try to get up shots and work on my handling. Because in high school, they just stick me down at center. I didn't know what to do with all that stuff. But now I'm watching, I'm with G and the guards. So now I get a little bit of better understanding of what you have to do to be a really good guard. So I'm just working on my own stuff. I don't want to be a 6'6" center. I got to be able to handle the ball. but G was the one who sparked the interest, where he said, like, you might be able to be a walk-on. Like, he was telling me about Nick Rezavi, and a few other walk-ons who kind of had done it, and he was like, you might be able to do it. Like,
My man Griff Hoffman, man. Shout out my man Griff, Matt Lyde. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They're all really good. And he said, you might be able to do it. The tricky thing is, like, it just depends on the year. Sometimes you got 18 or 19 guys. We don't need another walk-on. And that was, it kind of like, I tried to do it my freshman year, my sophomore year. And then, like, going into my junior year, when they were like, I'm sorry, we got too many guys, it kind of crushed me a little bit. But what I did that year was I told myself, let me forget about the walk-on thing. I'll just be the best manager I can possibly be. Cause Kip talked to me about it, and he was like, we don't need. Yeah, he was the best. I actually
Kip's a great guy.
Recently too. Yeah, I love.
Yeah,
Kip.
he's down there, Pat, in Jacksonville, fucking chilling like a motherfucker. He got a fucking umbrella in his cup, man. He chilling like a motherfucker.
Jacksonville. I thought he was in Kentucky. I thought he was back home in Kentucky.
I think. Well, he's in Jacksonville in like a fucking remote area where you gotta have some bread. You gotta have some bread to get in there.
Everything. You gotta have a few bits to get in there.
He got a few bits, trust me. You got to. Sorry, Pat. Go ahead.
No, you're good. And Kip was the one who was like, we don't need another walk-on right now. We need good managers. And he was praising me a lot for being a good manager, and I appreciated that. And so that year, I just decided to focus on that. But my first interaction with Coach, after G had kind of put that in my head a little bit, towards the end of the year, I wanted to pick a day after we had won, because if it was after a loss, he's probably not going to talk to me. So I was trying to pick my day very, very carefully. I can't remember what day it was, but I before he was going upstairs, and we're supposed to be rebounding. I just run up to him. I say, "Hey, Coach," and I'm really nervous, so I talk kind of quiet like this, and he does that thing where he's like, he can't hear you. So.
Yeah, who the fuck is this? Who the fuck is this? Who the fuck is this guy?
So now I'm even more nervous, and I just try. I'm probably like overly loud, but I was just like, my name is Pat. I'm hoping that, like, at some point I might be able, if there's walk-on tryouts or something in the future, I'd love to give it a shot. And he was just like, surely, like, if we have him, you're more than welcome to try it. Like, he's very nice, like, one-on-one. I love Coach. And my senior year, like, he was the final say going into my senior year, so he made all my dreams come true. So I love Bayham for that. But yeah, first
Pat,
one,
real quick,
it's a little.
Pat, you should have said that. Pat, real quick, you should have said this. Hey, Coach, my name's Pat. I've been here for 2 years, but I know you don't know what the fuck my name is. But hey, I'm Pat.
And that's what I didn't know yet. Like, I was just so shy.
Like, you've been here for 2 years. He's probably like, where'd he come from? Coach, yeah, Pat's been with us for a while, Coach. That
was my first interaction. I was definitely nervous for that.
Bro, what was you're a walk-on for 3 years, a manager for 3 years, and then your last year you get to go to be a walk-on. What was that feeling like for you? Because you've talked about, you stated several times that it was a dream come true for you. You know what I mean? To be able to put on that jersey and you're suiting up, bro. All right, yeah, you're probably not going to play a lot, right? Okay, you know that. You understand that. But you ended up scoring. You ended up getting in the game. What was that like for you, bro? Just to, you're a part of the program being the manager, but to experience putting that jersey on, have your name on the back of it. I'm sure you got to keep that. You got that. I'm sure you got that jersey framed. And then you got to go get a bucket against Cornell. Just talk about that experience, bro, playing and getting on the floor at the Dome.
That was the biggest thing, because it's like, you knew there were guys who would come in and out of, like, the Mello Center who weren't associated with the program, who were telling people, oh, I'm on the team. Like, there were always those cats who would try to come in and try to be walk-ons, and you were like, who the fuck is this guy? But to literally, like, to have my name on the back of the jersey, I mean, that was the dream come true, was literally suiting up every game. and knowing I'm not going to play, but knowing like, hey, I played for Syracuse. When I was done, I would
Hell
start
yeah.
like telling people like I was like, yeah, like I was a walk-on, I was a manager. And then one of the coaches I knew, he was like, you need to stop saying that. He's like, you played for Syracuse, like bottom line. And he helped boost my confidence a lot. But being a manager was great. But you have to be obsessed with it. You have to like, it's not the rewarding
It's not for
part
everybody,
is
bro.
not. It's not for everybody. It's the rewarding part is the experiences you get and the relationships you build. And it's not a monetary thing. It's like you meet some really cool people in the program. You get to be part of one of the top 10 programs in the country. And that is the reward. But being a walk-on was unbelievable. Oh, and my like first day of practice was a wake-up call. I'd been watching practice for 3 years, but being a part of that, I was gassed. I went up like in a normal manager game. Like I tried to go out with the post and Pascal, motherfucking 7'2", he didn't jump. He just sent my shit. I was like, oh, so I need to do something different.
Because you were working with the bigs too. You were with the bigs during that time, right?
Yeah. It was me, Barama, and Pascal, and that was it. And that was Griff's first year, and he was he was just harping on me to be like, just find creative ways to like score around these guys. So that was the year my floater got a lot better because I had to get it up over Pascal. But he was just telling me to try to find new ways to challenge these guys. Like, he made a big emphasis on watching the games, like, because, I got one of the best seats in the house for every game. But watching every game and seeing where other teams kind of beat our zone, because we're always harping on defense the most. We're going to beat the teams we beat, especially in March with the 2-3 zone. And what I like the best is like maybe our record isn't the best going into the tournament every year, but especially like the Final Four, the 2016 year, what I remember is that through those games, every team would find a new hole in our 2-3. And that just gave us a new challenge to better like shore it up, better make it unstoppable. And so after all those tests, once you hit March against all those non-ACC teams that you don't have to play 2 or 3 times, it's a motherfucker to play us, especially when you got Mike Benedict, and you got Trevor Cooney, when you got Roby, when you got all those guys who've been there for a while, and then you got 2 talented freshmen in Leiden and Malachi. That's a hard thing to play with, and that's what I like about this year's team is because you got Gerard and Jesse, who are good veterans, teaching this really talented young class. That for the future, I hope they do as well as they can this year. Next year, that's going to be a really, really tough team because they're getting battle tested this year.
Yeah.
Off topic. I forget the initial question, but I went off topic.
I got a question for you, Pat. So you said you came in, it was 7 of you guys, your class, that were able to be selected to become managers. Who of those 7 made it to senior year with you?
Let's see. There were 4 who, the 3 ended up being senior managers. So it's like,
okay,
the freshmen and the sophomores, they're all kind of clustered together. Juniors get a lot more responsibility. They're kind of prepping you to be a head manager, and they'll take each one on a road trip. Like my junior year, they took me to Georgia Tech to kind of prep you to be one of the head managers and know all the responsibilities. And so
you said, fuck that, I'm gonna be a walk-on. Why the fuck am I on this shit? I'm gonna be a walk-on.
If I got lucky, I was like, I'm happy with either, as long as I get to go on the road trips. That's all I wanted. But 3 ended up becoming head managers. Ricky was the main guy our senior year, and I was one of the walk-ons. But
and were you?
You had to work way harder as just around practice. You had to work way harder as a manager than you did a walk-on. Walk-on was physically exhausting, and you got to show you got to take care of your body. But as a manager, like all the other stuff around, they do everything behind the scenes, especially prepping for road trips and everything. It's a tough gig.
Make sure that Pepsi right.
Make sure Yep.
Make
Yes.
sure
Make
that
sure that
Pepsi's
fucking.
cold.
Make
Make
Pepsi's
sure
sure
clean
cold.
that
up how
fucking
you pass
Pepsi
through
is
that shit.
right. Make sure that fucking chair is right there on that sideline during practice. And motherfucker, if that chair is not there, this is what he does. He goes, stands in that spot and does this. And looks around like where the
Waiting for
fuck
that
is my
shit to
chair
That's
at?
appear.
cute. That's a
Yeah,
cute.
waiting for that
Did
shit to
anyone else?
appear.
He's like, I don't
Like
see
I
it.
Did
said, like
Anyone
anyone
else
else
seen
coach.
it,
from
but I know that chair should be here.
Did
Right.
anyone from your class try to get to be a walk on, or was it just you? Like, were you the only
Um,
manager that went to, or was it a tryout even, or were you just selected at that point? Like, fuck it, you were just
no,
granted.
it was like I had just been trying to be as proactive as possible because they'll say tryouts, they don't have them every year. They like if they like it's like I think they used to have them a lot more, but when I was there, I only saw it once, like my freshman year, and I didn't even know anything about it, so I wasn't in it. It was
Right.
like a 3-on-3 between guys who probably called the coaches and were asking about it, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll give them a shot."
Gotcha.
But we'll see how it goes. But no, I was the only one who attempted to.
Okay. Okay. I got a question for you real quick. Eric and I both have some incredible Bayheim stories, right? Like, I mean, it's so many that I forgot a lot of them. So many, like,
Yeah.
until someone else might remind me, yo, Joe, remember this? And I'll be like, yo, that shit was hilarious. So you were able to spend, obviously 3 years um, as a manager. So you probably heard some funny shit. But now as a walk on, you're there more like you're in the locker room, really, you know what I'm saying? You're on those road trips. So you might have been you were exposed to a little bit more. Is there anything that sticks out in your 4 years, whether it was something he said to someone else, you don't have to name names, or something he said to you at some point?
On the plane, on the
Uh,
bus, going there. Oh, you got all that time. That's a lot of time in between now.
that's true. But hey, on the plays, like Bayham's up, front seat, him and Julie are up front
Yeah.
seat, and then we're all the way in the back. But
He's fucking reading the
Read a
book.
book.
probably, yeah, or watching an old movie or something. Probably one of the best ones that I can remember is like now between Syracuse and West Virginia, like in Charleston, my hometown, is about 8-9 hour drive. So my parents weren't able to show up to like too many practices, but they would come for a game here and there. They would try to come for as many times as they could. But for the like one of the few practices my dad and my stepmom showed up to at the Mello Center, it was typical practice, and we were going over scout for somebody, someone who like really tries to get it into the high post on the elbow, and Belby was our point guard on scout team, and I was the center, and so like Bayham's instructing us to just be like, all right, they get into here, and then when they run the rest of the play, and so he keeps trying to feed it in to the elbow to me, and I keep dropping it. Like my hands are sweaty, I'm nervous for some reason. Maybe it's because my parents did, but I keep dropping. And on the third time, he said, "Pat, catch the fucking ball!" Like it just got like as loud as it can in the Mellow Center. And so like we get through practice, I'm a little embarrassed. And at the end, I go to my dad and my stepmom. I'm like, "Hey, that was a little embarrassing." And my dad was just like, "I'm just glad he knows your name." Like that was all he took away from that.
That's
But
dope. That's
no, but
dope.
that's the only time that coach gets upset is when he has to repeat himself like multiple times. That's the only time
Yeah.
I see him get like truly upset.
Yeah, Pat. We got about 5 minutes. We got about 5 minutes left on the show. Just from your overall experience, being at Syracuse, being a manager, being a walk-on, working closely, with those guys, with Hop, Bayheim, Red, Griff, GMAC, and now, you're taking it into the next step of your life, with the coaching and all that. What did you really learn, and what are a few things that really stuck with you during that Q's process that is going to help you, or that has helped you in your next step in the coaching career, in your coaching career?
It's the relationships you build. Every one of those guys is an unbelievable recruiter because they are genuine with their players. Because some coaches are not. Some coaches are used car salesmen, and they're trying to meet their recruiting quota. And those guys are dead honest with you on what to expect, what you're going to get and how hard you got to work if you want the things that you want out of the CUSE program. And that CUSE program is built on hard work and the relationships you build. And I think it's one of the most unique programs in the country because every one of those assistants played for Boeheim. So they know exactly what each one of those players is going through. And they know it better because they've got, 10 plus years of experience on each of them to build off of that. So it's such a family that I think the one thing I do take away from it is the relationships you build. Because, the managers, the players, the walk-ons, the coaches, they're family. They all, try to do as much as they can together, be as inclusive as possible. And if you earn their trust, they treat you like family.
No doubt, man.
Pat, we hope you come back for the alumni, Joe, right? We were just talking about, I think me and Chris Joe were just talking about that the last game of the season is alumni day. Yeah, 2003 national championship team coming back. Pat, we need to see you in the building, bro. You are a Syracuse basketball
I was just in
alum.
town for the Oakland game, and that was the first time I've been back in 4 years. You might convince me to come back up there, make that long drive.
Fellas, you know what time it is. We all up there, and we going to have a hell of a fucking pickup game at the Mello Center. Just know that.
Pickup game. We going to have a hell of a fucking night.
Yeah. We're going to play pickup. Then we're going to pick up a fucking beer or two later on. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be good.
We're go straight to Marshall Street and then downtown.
Shit. We might have to have that personal reservation at a spot. We ain't trying to be around all that. You know what I mean? We might have to do one of them,
Yeah.
Pat,
we're going to figure it out, though. That's a fact.
No doubt. Pat, before you get up out of here, we got CUSE tonight, 7 p.m. down at Miami. We're on a 2-game winning streak. Beat Virginia Tech. Just had a great win at home versus Notre Dame this Saturday. What's your take tonight, and what does the CUSE have to do to continue to keep this winning streak alive?
I love their game against Notre Dame because if you look at that box score, you got 4 guys in double digits. And I think that's how you beat. It's not like if 1 or 2 guys has a hell of a night, you're probably not willing. But when you share the ball like that and you got the confidence like that, Bell, he had a hell of a game because, some of those shots were, it was a heat check, it was a swagger check, and he was knocking them down. So if they can keep that swagger, keep that team ball consistency, whatever you want to call it, they're going to get a win.
What's the score? What's your prediction?
Prediction 75-69 Syracuse.
Okay, yeah, we could never have a prediction where Syracuse loses. I don't give a fuck if they're going to lose or not. We can't have a prediction where they lose. I don't give a fuck.
That would be an awful guest.
Joe,
that would be a terrible guest.
Yo, Pat, we really appreciate you hopping on, sharing some of your stories, man, from being a manager to a walk-on. I know all the people tuned in, and they get a kick out of hearing all those stuff from behind the scenes. So really appreciate you, bro, and continued success in your coaching career and everything that you're doing in West Virginia. And you already know when you come back to the CUSE, it's all love, bro. We got you, man. So we appreciate you hopping on.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. I love the show. I'm tuning in every time you guys are on.
Share that shit, baby. Well. Share the sugar. Share the sugar, baby.
Share the sugar. My guys.
All love. Yes, sir. We out.